Hi, and welcome to my informative speech. My month of birth is February, and the year is 1973. And doing my research, unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of interest, but I can cover some things. As far as the economy, back in 1973, the American dollar was devalued by 10%. So even though the dollar is strong throughout the rest of the world, here at home, it was definitely decreasing at a pretty good pace. And the housing median cost was 35,500 as compared to today it's around 110,000. And the price of a first class stamp back then was 9 cents, and now one stamp costs over 40 cents. So it shows you the inflation there. And also the average employment income was about 10,000 a year, and now it's around 30,000. And as far as the government's concerned, back in 1973, the month of February, well, Richard Nixon was the president, and at that time he sent his State of the Union address message to Congress. And while that was going on, well, a little after, the government designed a committee that voted 71 to 66 to create a fact-finding investigative committee to check into the Watergate scandal that Nixon was connected to. And also during that month, Nixon went to China while he was under scrutiny for alleged corruption, and they were able to make an agreement with China and set up a liaison's office, which helped military relations with China, and that involved information back and forth regarding military maneuvers, military interests. But then, starting in the 60s, you had the Vietnam War, which was going on. And the American naval fleet has always been strong, but the first U.S. fleet ended up becoming inactive and going out of service. But the third American naval fleet became active and took over for them, and that's what happened all in the month of February 1973. And the Vietnam War unfortunately didn't go too well for America, and there was a lot of prisoners taken. And in that month and year, that was when the first American POWs were released and sent home. So good thing for that. And we have celebrity birthdays. And if you've heard of the famous boxer Oscar De La Hoya, he was born in February 1973 and won multiple championships and held on to the title in boxing for a really long time and was the dominant force in his weight division. And we have a journalist named Amy Robach, and she was born 1973 in February, and she worked at MSNBC for a while and switched channels, and now she's at ABC. And we have an actress named Erin Matthews that works in television, and so she's currently 41 also, and doing really well with that. So unfortunately, not a whole lot going on to talk about. With music, we had the band ABBA, who became really popular in America, and they released their song Dancing Queen, and that went up high in the charts. And also we have like Steppenwolf, was really prominent back then, and they had some interesting songs that were taking over the charts. A great gymnast from Ukraine, like Boginskaya, was born that year, and she won some titles, taking them from America, so it gave our gymnastics team a bit of work to do. And that's pretty much it for my informative speech. And my references are the 1970s flashback.com, Chronicles 1974, the World Book Yearbook, Chicago, Field Enterprises, and we have famousbirthdays.com and historyorg.com. Thanks, have a good night.